Willett. Ken Willett, using the free cloud for personal health data.
Good evening.
Evening.
I want to talk a little bit about how you get health information from your providers and how we can make that work better. We all know that having good health information is important to all of us. It helps us make better decisions, helps us have a better communication, conversation with our providers. And it's still the case, however, that most the information that we receive from providers comes on paper. And that just doesn't work in terms of being able to really use that information in the future to shape our own health. I'm going to show you one that I got. I got this report a little while ago. Probably took about a week for this to show up in my mailbox, and I probably lost it already. So if I needed to go back and look at it, I'm not sure what I would do. It's very difficult to manage this information when it comes from providers. And you can't use it to ask good questions. Now, one of the things that's happened with the advent of electronic health record systems is that now many practices, hospitals, and providers have patient portals. And a patient portal allows the information to be presented in a digital form in a secure way, and it's much more engaging than the paper document that you receive. But there's some limitations in that approach. One is that you have a portal for your primary care doctor, you have one for your hospital, you might have one for your lab, you have one for your specialist, and your health information is distributed across all of those systems. So you can't pull that together and produce a comprehensive view of everything that everyone is telling you, all the different medications that have been prescribed by different doctors. And so something that's been proposed as a solution to that is what's called a personal health record. Personal health record systems allow you as a patient to pull this information from multiple sources. You can apply applications to help you understand the information better. Microsoft Health Vault's been out there for a long time, but surprisingly, there are few, if any, other competitors. Google got into this business and they got out again. There have been some startups that have built personal health record systems. They haven't been very successful, and there are a number of reasons for that. Probably the main one is that the infrastructure for a personal health record system is extremely expensive. You need a huge amount of scalable storage. It has to be secure, redundant, fault tolerant, and nobody wants to pay for it. Patients are not going to pay to subscribe to a personal health record system. So I want to talk about a proposal that I have, and I'm not building this, but I hope somebody builds this, which is based on free cloud services, which we're all familiar with. We all use Twitter, we use Facebook, we use probably a free personal email system. And in particular, there are three key components that are part of any personal health record system. Cloud-based storage, which has to be highly scalable. And you see that there are some vendors that provide that. There are vendors that provide free messaging systems, text, email, and so forth. And there are providers that provide stores where you can select applications that you can use to perform various functions. And of course, none of this stuff is really oriented towards healthcare. But it seems to me like we should be able to take these tools and apply them in a healthcare context. And we'll be using tools people are already familiar with, the infrastructure's already been built, the hard problems have already been solved, and we need to sort of tailor this for the healthcare situation. So here's how this would work. I would go to a health information broker system. It would be a web application. I'd create a profile. The profile would say I'm using Google Drive. I want a text message when new information comes in. I want to use these applications. And it would give me an identifier I could provide to my doctor that they would use the same way they would use a fax number. So whenever they wanted to send me something, they would use that identifier, would route that information through the broker. It would send me an alert saying I have new information available. And importantly, it would provide the information to the provider that that information has been delivered to me, which is an important tracking thing that they have to do for HIPAA and meaningful use reporting and so forth. Now, obviously there are challenges in making this work. And probably the biggest challenge is how to accelerate adoption of a system like this so that it becomes pervasive enough so that doctors are willing to use it, patients are willing to sign up for it. And the way I look at that is, like any startup, this is a lot like skiing. The most important thing about skiing is, first of all, you want to go downhill. You don't want to be trying to fight your way uphill. And so you want to be doing things that are easy for people to adopt, they're easy for them to use, they're willing to talk to their friends about them, The media will write about them. That's an important aspect of how you choose the right path for a system like this. Secondly, you want to wax your skis, meaning you want to eliminate sources of friction. Friction in a system like this are things like user fees, complicated user agreements, clunky user interfaces. You need to move all that stuff out of the way so that you're going as fast as possible. And finally, there are some trees in the way. Compliance, security, breaches of information. You need to plan how you're going to work around all those things. But I'm convinced this can be done, and I'm hoping someone does it.